And this could bring us back to the beginning of the book, because when I first lay out my argument, for finding truth, I start with Romans 1, and I show how Romans 1, to use a modern term, God creates cognitive dissonance in people to drive them to recognize that their worldviews are false.
Mm-hmm. So just explain that term, just so that we all make sure we have it here.
Yeah, it might be easier to start with sort of the beginning. In finding truth, what I still am excited about when I teach it or when I get invited to speak on it, I get so excited about it because it's a form of apologetics based on scripture. And, most apologetics books deal with a lot of complex logical arguments.
Evidences and that kind of stuff, yeah.
And they seem to sort of float out there just in the ether.
Yeah.
And this is grounded in Romans 1. It's grounded in scripture. And in Romans 1, Paul was talking to an audience he had not spoken to before. And so he gives the case for Christianity in a particularly comprehensive way. And so the crux of it is general revelation, right? That there's enough evidence from God's creation for us to be able to conclude that there's a God. And most people interpret that as the beauty and complexity of nature, and that's certainly important. That's a good part of it. Right. I think the intelligent design movement is all about that, showing that there's evidence for a mind at work in nature. But when Paul talks about evidence from general revelation, he doesn't only mean nature, he means humanity. Mm-hmm. You and I are part of the created order, and we give evidence for God. And the basic argument is the cause has to be equal to the effect. Right? So because humans are capable of knowing, the first cause that created them must have a mind. Mm-hmm. Because humans are capable of choosing, the first cause must have a will. Or one Christian philosopher sums it up like this: says, because a human is a someone and not a something, the source of human life must also be a someone, that is, a personal being, and not the blind automatic forces of nature. So, or you could say this is just what the psalmists are arguing, right? Does he who fashioned the ear not hear? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does he who formed the eye not see? So the beauty of this argument is you don't have to be a Christian to see that it makes sense. Right. The case for the Creator fits our universal experience of our own human nature, what we know about ourselves. And so it's really a summary of a lot of the arguments that I heard when I was at L'Abri. Hmm. They often argued from universal human nature or universal human experience. So that you don't have to necessarily, if you're talking to your kids and they're having questions about the Bible, if you're talking to students who are not sure they believe the Bible, this is a very effective argument to use with them.